Hi, it's Dr. Rogini. So I was called today to do some topic on how to keep your energy intact, okay? Especially if you're a projector by human design or if you're energetically sensitive. Okay, if you think you're super sensitive around people, you get tired very fast, you feel fatigued all the time, or you are in a burnout stage, this video will definitely help you because I'm going to just share with you through my own personal experience and also through hearing with my clients. So, interacting with my clients and guiding them in terms of what works best for them. So, I think this is going to make a huge difference in your life. Okay. So, I came up with, as I actually was writing this about this, I thought I'm going to share only 3 steps, 3 ways in order to manage your energy field. But then as I was writing, I started realizing, oh, there's way more I want to cover. I came up to around 6 steps, but who knows, as I'm going, I might add more. Okay. So over the years, what I've learned, what I've done for my own self and for allowed myself to grow and expand further, what I did is actually declutter my house on a regular basis. Okay. So what I mean by decluttering the house. So you can declutter not just your house, you can declutter your car, declutter your work environment, your office space, declutter um, your closet. So it's not just one place, but the entire place where you usually hang out all the time. Okay. So what I do is I kind of go through my closet, go through my drawers, and check what does not serve me and get rid of stuff. And through these processes over time, what I've noticed, my energy just got better and better. I felt less tired. And I tried to also cut down on too many different things. So let's say, mm, I try not to have too many choices in my closet. So I don't have to think too much. I try to cut down on too much thinking because this really served my energy field. And especially as a projector, I'm a projector myself. So as a projector, you can be very energetically sensitive around a lot of people. So you absorb those energies and it can really um, mess your day up. Okay, so but if you're not focused at home, if you're not setting certain boundaries, if you're around a lot of people, you're going to really mess up your energy field and you're going to feel so drained and tired that you don't have enough energy for the next day or on the same day. Okay. So another thing when I talk about decluttering, sometimes you might notice that you have things that don't even belong to you, especially if you have lived with families and siblings and parents. And if you find things that they don't belong to you, they belong to somebody else, ask them, I mean, with their permission, first of all, you can give it away or give it back to them. That's another way to declutter your house as well. So you may not even notice how much stuff you're accumulating. And the reason why I'm sharing this, it really made a huge difference in my life. So we have over the 13 years, we have moved 3 houses, okay? And believe it, the first house was a smaller house. I had so much stuff in there. So as I started decluttering, we started getting the opportunity to buy a new house. And even when I started decluttering, I already had that habit. I'm very good at that. I've done that for years, okay? And then on the second house, I started accumulating things. But over the years, I realized, okay, this thing doesn't resonate with me. So I would let go of those things. And as I started letting go, I was actually guided to buy this bigger house, okay? So as I bought this bigger house, you'd be surprised that I don't have the same amount of things what I had in my first house, much less items, okay? The thing is that it's so important for you to contain that energy. We all have unlimited amount of energy, like access to the life force or pranic energy. But the way our system works, we absorb energies sometimes that are not ours, and then we take on that stuff, and then we mixing up with our energy, and we get very tired. Okay, so changing the lifestyle in my own house, like changing, moving things, getting rid of things, really allowed me to be more stable and more centered. And if you're experiencing this and you've done that, please share it, because I love to hear what your experience was and what you did. Maybe you did something different, and I'm very open to that. Okay. Thing is, when you declutter, because I have 3 children, so they're already like, I have 2 teens and one a 9-year-old. You also have to be very mindful, because they may need stuff for their own growth, okay? And us as projector or energetically sensitive, because I'm sensitive to sound, I'm very sensitive to touch, sensitive to taste, smell, all that. I'm like very hypersensitive. So I am very hyper, my energy is so like expand, I can sense everything. So what I do is, especially if you have children and you need to have a toy station, right? Or you need to have some form of station for them to grow and evolve, so it doesn't mess up with your energy, because kids make things messy. And for me, I like things to be organized. So what I do for especially my son, my girls are older, they don't need a play space, but my son, he loves using recycled stuff. Okay, so he uses a lot of recycled items. He likes to build. He doesn't like to play with toys. He's an interesting character, so he evolves, he thrives in that. He loves that environment when he has all these recycled items and he starts building. So how do me as a projector, and also energetically very sensitive and love stuff organized and everything like in a certain way, how do I work with that? So I actually created a space just for him, where he can create he has his own way of doing things. So for me, it looks messy, but for him, that's how he functions. So I just create a space for him. So this way, I'm not in that space, and somehow I'm not affected by that space. So my energy is always intact. Okay, so really be mindful of your children. Yes, they do need a certain environment for their skills to grow. So you got to kind of work around that too. And with your partner, making sure that they can, they have their own way of doing things, right? So, and you got to work together. Okay, so number 2, the first one I said decluttering, and number 2 is create an environment that you're very efficient. Okay, so for example, my kitchen, I have put certain things in certain place, so I'm very efficient. I'm a chiropractor. So as a chiropractor, we always look how we use our body, right? Like, are we not overusing it? I'm making sure that I don't have to bend all the time or stuff like that. So I'm always watching ergonomically as well, because you don't want to again, your body is so important, right? So you don't want to mess up your energy field, where you start to have all these aches and pains. Especially as projectors, we can start feeling these aches and pains sooner if we don't address and watch our posture, watch our ergonomic actions, making sure everything is put in places that helps your body. Okay, so you got to be very conscious about that. And so organize your kitchen the way you can be functional, okay? And plan, like efficient, meaning that I have a way how I put my jackets and my shoes, and the way so I can just okay, I don't have to think in the morning. I just know it's right there. So when I had it all over the place, let's say in the past, where I put one thing over here, one thing over there, it doesn't even make sense to anyone. Even if you're not hypersensitive to energy, you are still all over the place. So make it as efficient, your home environment, your workplace, including your car as well. There might be stuff in your car that doesn't need to be in there. You can take it out, right? And one more thing, this is key for people who are energetically sensitive. Wake up early. Wake up before everybody else. It doesn't mean you have to wake up 5 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the morning. You can wake up, let's say your kids wake up at 7, wake up maybe at 6:30 or at 6 o'clock. So you have enough time to really integrate your energy, really do the things that you need to do before you're interacting with your children, because remember, you're sensitive. So if let's say your children had a bad dream or they went through something, you can sense that right away. So you got to make sure you really allow yourself to be with you, be aligned with yourself before you start your day. And aligning with yourself, you got to find what's best for you, because everyone has different ways of doing things. I like to meditate and do like a 10-15 minutes workout just to move my body and allow everything to loosen up, and I start my day and I feel more energized, right? And another thing that I wanted to add to the sleep schedule, this is the way it works for me. I never ever, I don't want to say never ever, but for me, going to bed very late, it does not work for me. I will be so bitter next day that I'll be so miserable and bitter. No. So what I've learned over the years, to go to bed early. So I start to already go to bed around 9:30. So I need some time to really get myself back on track and relax my nervous system and then go to sleep. I have tried everything possible. Because I have had siblings who would stay up late all night. And I tried to be like them. Never worked for me, never. Because every time I tried that, I'll be so miserable next day, no way. And then also like parties. I had a hard time with parties. I love going to parties, but the only way I would stay energized if there was a dance floor, or if I would be able to dance at nighttime. So this way I will be energized. Other than that, I had a hard time staying late at night for anything, any events and stuff like that. It just doesn't work for me. And you got to really listen, because don't try to be somebody else, because sometimes you feel bad because your friends are like that. They can stay late. Your family members are like that. And for me, it never worked. Even when I was a student, I'm done by 10 o'clock. Like I couldn't study past 10 o'clock. Sorry, that's my little dog. I mean, she's a big dog, but she's 2 years old, so I call her little dog. Okay, so try to go to bed early. You may feel guilty. Your friends may convince you to stay up late. Listen to your body, listen to yourself, and create this structure, because it's so essential for you, because you don't want to really burn out. You don't want to burn out. And the last thing you want to burn out when you're in your 30s or when you're 25. I've seen patients, this is not, I don't know if they're projectors or not, but these are patients who have, who are very young. And when I look at their x-rays, they already have early onset of degeneration. Okay, so they're already going through a lot of stress in their body. So imagine when they hit their 40 or 50. I don't want to be at that level. And I'm for sure you don't want that too. So you got to be very conscious. Be aware. Your body will tell you if you're going past a certain time. So, and then you may need a certain amount of time of sleep. So just listen and try not to push it. As I said, I've tried it. I tried to push it. It never worked. It always did the worst thing to me. I will feel miserable the next few days. Okay, I will feel like I had a jet lag. Okay, and I don't think so. You want that, right? Okay, so try to also, in my practice, I know efficiency. So in my practice, I try to automate everything. So my practice runs smoother. Everything is online. People can book online. So whatever works, if you're a practitioner or you're a healer, try to automate everything so you can really be more efficient. You don't have to think. The last thing is you want to think too much, okay? Because you want to run with your intuition, with your instinct. Okay, you don't want to use too much of this thinking mind. Especially, I have this open, according to human design, I have this open head center, so you can easily be, I don't want to call it infected, but yes, with so many ideas, overwhelm, and then if you don't have a proper way of how you want your day to go, if you don't have certain intentions set up, you are going to be all overwhelmed, create headache, be uncomfortable, feel fatigued, don't know what to pick. You may want to do this, and that sounds exciting. You want to do this sounds exciting. You can be all over the place. So you got to learn to really focus, right? So this is why it's important for projectors or energy sensitive people. Set intention for the week, set intention for the day. And if I've noticed, when I don't set intentions, I will be all over the place. Yeah, so you got to really create that focus, and you can write it out. And I know like structure is very important for us, but you don't want to be rigid with your structure, not to the point that you have one after another something else coming up. This way you're not even flexible. You need to be a little bit more flexible, so you allow, actually this should be another point, another step, but allow your energy to also to I'm trying to find a word, to be able to be a little flexible. So don't make it rigid, like you have an appointment after another appointment, another schedule. That never worked for me too. And sorry, I just lost my train of thought. So always try to be flexible, but at the same time have a structure. Okay? And also remember, you evolve. So as you start growing, as you upgrade, I always call it upgrading like a phone. You know how often we change our phones, or how often these phone systems are changing. So our energy system upgrades on a very, very fast. And within the last 13 years, I can't explain it. There's so much upgrades that happened. Like I felt like I went from this end like really fast in that last 6-7 years. Okay, so the way the upgrades happen is with a lot of conscious work. I will sit down with it. If a certain pattern repeats in my life, I will ask a deeper question. Why is it repeating in my life? How is it serving me? What am I getting out of this experience, right? So I will go deeper. It depends on the situation. I'll ask all these deep questions and release it. And what happens as I unfold, my whole family dynamic changes. It's crazy. Yes, my whole family dynamic changes because my vibration is shifting, right? So as you're upgrading, what maybe the lifestyle you had before might not resonate with you. You may have to change again. Okay? And I'm one of those who takes time. I don't like to rush into things. I always do bit by bit. And because the way it works with my energy, if let's say someone tells me an idea, why don't you do this? And I can't do it right away. It's just the way I work. And I would love to hear that. If you're a projector or energetic sensitive, please let me know what you think about that too. Like the idea might be very amazing, so good, but because I go a certain like step by step energetically, because I need to process it, right? So I can use my mind, because the minute I use too much of my mind, my energy gets depleted very fast. Okay, so I have to process with that. I can't just go try to push it and try to be that, like, that masculine energy, that go-getter. Yes, I do get a lot of stuff. Like you'd be surprised. I'll get stuff done in, like, I might be looking like I might be slacking, but I'm not. And then I get stuff done in 3 days, but I'm so hyper-focused. So that's how I operate. And as I said, I would love to hear how you guys operate, because it's so interesting to hear from different people, from different energetic sensitive people. Even if you're not energetic sensitive, you may have your own way of doing things. That's why, like, there's no specific way, because everyone is different. It's like food types, right? You cannot resonate with all sorts of um, like, you know, vegan diet and different type of diets, meat diet, I mean, um, ketogenic diet. Like, it doesn't really work for everyone, so you got to find what works best for you. Okay, so another thing, number 3, it's minimal furniture. I know I kind of mentioned in the decluttering section part of the video, but minimal furniture, what do I mean by that? When I mean by minimal furniture, it's not just only not having too many furnitures in my house. Also, this is just me. I can't have big, bulky furnitures. It's because every time I upgrade, I may have to move my furniture around. I know it sounds crazy. Every time I move it around, I get energized. Okay? So the reason why I cannot have it bulky, because if it's bulky, I can't move it. So I have to ask for help. So this way I can do it instant. When I feel like it's time to shift it, it's instant. Okay? And I work the way, like, although like I'm very connected with myself, I'm very sensitive to the external world as well. So the way my energy shifts, I have to shift certain things around me. Okay. So really honor that, because if you felt like you're always moving furniture and people are like, why are you moving? Like, even my clinic, my space, I have things moving around. Depends how my clinic evolves. And people will ask you, like, Dr. Gini, why did you change? And I just know I have to change. So, and they will get used to it. So if you're one of those, don't hold back, do it. There's a reason why you're doing it. Listen to your body. It's like feng shui, but you're working with the feng shui as the collective energy shifts, your energy shifts. So it's not like, this is why I said it's so, I didn't say it in this video, but in the previous videos, it's so important to have an open mindset. You can't be stuck to one thing. Okay, so as we evolve, like, our body's upgrading. Think about it. Think about the cell phones. They're upgrading. Now they have a different body. Okay? Same thing. As my body's upgrading, my energy's upgrading, my environment has to upgrade with me. Okay? If it doesn't, symptoms like confusion, disorientation, stagnation, not able to focus, all those things start to rise. And you will know. If you're a projector, you will definitely know what I'm talking about. Okay? And yeah, let me know if you're one of those who moves furnitures. Yeah. It's in my house, it's just me. Nobody else does that. Even in this lifetime, even with my family, with my parents and siblings, I was the one who always moves things. And if I didn't have that control, it would really affect me. Okay, so because we can get fatigued very easy, and we have undefined sacral center. So if you're a projector, or if you have read Human Design, if you have plugged in your birthday and your time, you'll know what you are. But at the same time, I always try to tell, because I used to be, I'm very pro charts, astrological charts. My family been always used to charts since we were from childhood. But one question I always had is, my parents always followed these charts, but I felt like they were never like fully happy within themselves. Or they've never felt like, it's like what they wanted, they never got what they wanted. And they followed all these charts. And I'll be like, okay, these charts make sense, but why not? So, because they were fixed to that. You got to be open because the charts just tell you patterns. So, you got to recognize your patterns and you got to break those patterns. And I've learned to break my patterns at a very young age. So I recognize it and I break it. I recognize it and break it. Sometimes I can't recognize it. Somebody else would tell me, and I was like, oh, okay. I will just make sure that when they do tell me, it's not something that's what they want, because you have to remember sometimes they will tell you things that they want you to change to their needs. So you got to be very aware of that. So you're not changing for them, you're evolving for you. I know it's pretty deep. That would be another whole topic. But yeah, you got to be very conscious about that. So if someone does tell you, like, oh, Dr. Rogini, you're like this, you got to really evaluate that and ask yourself, is it something maybe you did recognize, you just ignored it? Okay. But if it's something that they're asking to do because they want you to change it for them, so you got to be really watching out for that. Okay, so because our energy field, this is number fourth point, we get drained very fast if you do things that does not serve you, and you have to learn to say no. Yes, it took me many years to learn to say no for certain things, including with your children too. This is not just for people that you meet outside, your friends, your clients, also for your own family members as well. Okay. And it is a process you learn, because sometimes you have to go through negative experiences in order to realize what you want and what you don't want. Okay. So once you start learning to say no, you're setting certain healthy boundaries, and your energy will be much more intact, and you have more energy to run your day. Okay. And it's crazy. Even though I learned to say no for certain things, I'm still evolving. As I evolve, I meet different type of challenges, and I have to learn to say no for those things. Okay? So don't get stuck to the one experience you had. Remember that. So saying no, it doesn't mean, sometimes it's not a verbal no. It's also not getting into a drama, like meaning in getting involved with someone else's drama. Because if you're really aware, like you guys are, like if you're a projector, you're aware what's happening. If not, if you're really conditioned, you cannot recognize. I can recognize right away in my body if they're going through some negative experience, right? And now if you involve into that conversation, you get plugged into that. And it feels like like your whole body is taken out. Like you feel this, it's very uncomfortable. Okay. And so if you don't engage in that conversation, you're more neutral and you're able to be in balance. Okay, so be very conscious of that. You may have to go through few experiences in order to eventually say no, especially if you never recognized it, because it's probably normal to you. Like you don't even realize. You're like, oh, okay, maybe that's how I should be feeling. No, you realize you don't have to feel like that. Okay, and I know, especially as spiritual people, you you were trained to be compassionate to others, serve others, be available for others, to help others. Especially me as a doctor, as a healer, I have to be always available. But what happened I had to learn the hard way. Trust me. This is why I'm sharing this, because I will have no schedule. I've had families coming over at home, and I will treat them. Okay. I will treat them at the clinic, or I will treat them at home. And then I will get tired because I don't have time for myself. I didn't know how to say no to that. So then I had to create certain boundaries. So I said, don't come home, come to the clinic if you want to get treated. So you have to set boundaries. Okay. And I know you're going to feel guilty to say no. I know that. I totally hear you, because I've been through that. So the guilt can sometimes really be uncomfortable. So this is why you have to work with it. You have to sit with it. Once, let's say some situation brings up this guilt within you, you got to sit with it and ask yourself, what is this guilt showing up? What is it trying to tell me? And you really have to breathe into it and release that guilt out of the system, and really heal that on a deeper level. Okay, you have to remember this deep guilt is stored in your cells, right? Your cells remember that. That's why every time you encounter through something saying no, you're like, oh, I should not say no, it's not right. But then you got to heal that, because if you don't heal and shift that and recognize that, you're going to do things from guilt, not from compassion. Because when you say no from compassion, it's a whole different feeling than when you say it from guilt. Okay? Number 5. This is actually a very important one, because I always felt guilty. I used to nap a lot. Okay, I still nap. So napping is so important, and my mother never naps. Okay, so I would nap and I will feel really, really guilty that I'm napping. Like, my mom is so powerful. How come I can't do that? So you guys, if you don't nap, I'm not saying you have to nap, but if you're called to take a nap, nap, because it really makes a difference in your energy field. And even when my kids were small, I'll actually take them and like with them, I will take a nap with them. It will make a huge difference, because I have so much energy afterwards and I'm so much more productive. So don't fight it, because there's a reason why you're napping. You probably need to recharge, right? Or you encountered so many different energies. Also, one thing I've learned, taking a shower. Okay, so sometimes I have to take a shower twice, to really clear everything up and kind of bring myself back into alignment. Sometimes 3 times. So whatever that you're called to, do it. Okay? And yeah, if you have children and they take take a nap with them. Don't try to get things done just because when they're napping, unless, like, obviously if you feel energized, it's a different story, but if you feel tired with them, take a nap. Okay? Number 6. Okay, this is an interesting topic. Recognize when the other person is not receiving. So recognize when the other person is not receiving. What do I mean? As a healer, or if you're a life coach or a chiropractor. So as a chiropractor, what I've noticed over the years, like, I will give people advice. And every time I give them an advice, if they're not ready, you can feel it, okay? You can feel it. So I try to push it through. Like, it's like let's say there's a wall and you're trying to talk through the wall. So I'll try to push it through to give them advice, but deeply I know, like, I can sense they're not receiving. But at the same time, like, okay, maybe if I try, they will use that advice and change in their life, right? And use that advice and make a difference in their life. But what happened is I try so hard that it takes my energy away. I get tired. So you got to be aware of that. So just be conscious. If you feel, because as I said, as projectors, we can right away feel when they're like, oh, like, I'm not taking, like, it's like they have this thing. They're not even paying attention to your talking. Okay? Do not give advice. Just say, okay, and just finish the session or finish the conversation and redirect. Because it's not serving you, because you have to come back to you. Remember, your energy is so precious. So you want to make sure that you're really not overgiving. Literally not overgiving. I know, because I've learned as a child, anything I learn or anything I get, like, I want to share, I start sharing it. But then you realize they're not even interested, right? So you got to cut down, you got to stop, and only, like, you'll recognize if someone wants to learn, they will listen. You see the difference. So it takes time for you to learn that, right? So it's a process. So as you start learning, like, whoever wants to listen, they will come and ask you, like, what do I do? How do I do this? What exercise should I do? Trust me, like I could give them an exercise, it won't even go register in them because they're not receptive, and there's nothing wrong with that. You guys are so aware of energy, so you have to really recognize that. So don't push it through. You guys are not the masculine push through, fight through. No, it's not necessary. It's so much easier. Just follow the guidance. Okay? Um, I wanted to say something, but you know what? It's okay. That should be probably another topic. Yeah, so you may have this feeling you're obligated to share because you know so much about us. Let's say it could be a health condition or about as something that an advice that you want to give, and you could see this person needs this as advice, but like you feel so obligated to help this person. But if this person is not receptive, how can you share? They're not going to receive it. It's like talking from this ear and it goes out. Okay, and train yourself, be conscious of that. So now when you interact with other people, just be aware of that. Okay, so number 7, I think I already talked about number in the first one, is basically do not have a rigid structure, a schedule. So avoid having rigid schedule. So what do I mean by that? So let's say when I see my clients, I see them from 10 o'clock until 2 o'clock, one after another. Yes, I have trained myself to see one after another, but it's very short time. Okay, so right after, I don't plan something else because I need probably half an hour really cleanse myself and get myself back on track. So I'm not having another appointment where, let's say, if I have to have a phone meeting with somebody else or a meeting with my staff or anything like that, I try not to put them together. So if you're, like I said, if you're energetically sensitive, you're a projector, try not to make your structure, your schedule too rigid. Make it a little bit flowy too. So because when you're flowy, your intuition will kick in. Otherwise, you're so rigid, you cannot tap into your higher power or your higher self. Because sometimes there's a message that needs to come through, or you need to be like, okay, I need to declutter my energy. I need to focus again. I need to bring my intention back for my day. So all these things come in when you create those moments when you have a little bit of rest period. Okay. I know, like this marketing system or these other systems I have gone through in the past, they have all these rigid structure, and that never served me. Like every time I tried that, it will burn me out. Actually, I will feel so exhausted. It never works. So if you feel like something is not resonating with your energy, like even what I'm saying, if it doesn't resonate, don't do it, right? So only do things that resonates with your vibration. Okay, sometimes I have to use Palo Santo. It depends on what my day flows like because not every day is the same, right? So be aware of that. And this way, once you're doing, you follow, these are like, obviously there's way more. I think these are the 7 points, like key points. Even doing these small changes, it will make so much difference in your energy. And you need to learn it through, because you can't just like know it. So you have to experience it too. As projectors, sometimes you got to learn it in order to see. It's like you got to taste this food in order to realize this is not for you, right? You got to kind of experience it and then say no. So if you don't have the experience, like, no, not this, I don't want to say this. Actually, if you had this experience, and a lot of projectors, they repeat it again. The pattern keeps repeating because they think it's normal to experience that. But once you start realizing, so now you can realize sooner. You don't have to go 100 times through the same experience over and over again. Okay, so now you experience once, you're like, this doesn't work for me. Let me shift it. Okay, and it is practice, it's recognition, being aware, conscious. So practice is being conscious and aware of your energy, and really listen to your intuition, listen to your gut instinct, because I've learned over time not to listen to other people because their system does not work for me. I had to create my own way. I had to create my own. I went through so many, like I've seen so many gurus and yogis and um, mentors where they have told me certain things, but it didn't work for me. Or I've used that and um, create a different version that works best for me. Okay, so this is why I created this course for people. If you go online, in the description box, you can actually click into that course. It would actually help you to heal anything that's in your vibration that doesn't need to be there. You can cleanse it. Okay, so you need to do on a regular basis every single day, at least for 30 to 60 days, to cleanse your energy system. So this way you become more clear of what you want and what you don't want. But you cannot be clear when you're like everything is all over the place. It's like going to a buffet of a lot of food and you're like, I like this, I like that, I don't know which one to pick. You're like, oh, it's too much going on, right? Same thing, your energy, your vibration, your energetic field, your auric field is it's like all over the place. So in order for you to do to clear that, you got to do this cleansing work on a regular basis. And what I did with the course, it's more about self-love and really honoring your body and bringing you bring yourself into the present moment and really embracing of who you are. Okay, it's pretty deep. So it is a beginner level though, so it's not like you have to have experience to do this. But as you're doing these sessions, like this course, there's like 5 lessons for now, but as you're doing that course, you will start to create your own way of doing things too, especially if you're a projector. Sometimes you don't like to follow other people's way of doing things. I find it's easier when you follow your own guidance, inner guidance. But first you have to cleanse. So especially if you're conditioned, you need to decondition yourself first in order to be able to bring yourself back into the moment and really heal at the deeper level. So you can click in the link below to purchase the course. And yeah, and also let me know, like, if this video really helped you or if I talk too much. But I wanted to share, see again, like I want to share as much as I can, but definitely there's people out there who want to listen to this and they will benefit from this. So whoever is ready for this, they will receive this video and enjoy watching my course, okay? And don't forget to click thumbs up and also subscribe to my page. Thank you.